Exactly 1 year ago today, March 9th, 2020, the first coronavirus test was done on someone in Saskatchewan. Not long after that, the province shut everything down and life changed for most of us in huge ways, in ways we could never have imagined. Not long after that, March 24th, 2020, I did my very first One Good Thing episode, and my whole goal with that episode and every single one of them up to this point, which is our 100th episode, believe it or not, my only goal through this whole thing is to say to us, we need to choose to look for good things. I wanted that to be the theme of almost every talk that we've done on here, simply because I believe that one choice changes everything. What we choose to look for is what we will find and what we will see. This came to me again just recently as I was reading a passage from a book. This guy talking about his life and how things were and why he was so depressed most of the time. Listen to his observations. He said, I realized that I was focused on bad news all the time. All I talked about was bad news. All I listened to was bad news. I expected to hear about wars and violence and crime. And I expected people to be in conflict and things to be in disarray all the time. In fact, I expected my visitors to talk about their problems, and I talked about my problems. That's all we talked about was our problems. Then he says something here that is really interesting. I've been paraphrasing him. Let me read the exact quote to you here. He said this, somehow I have become accustomed to living with sadness. And so I've lost the eyes to see the joy and the ears to hear the gladness that belongs to God, which can be found in the hidden corners of the world. I think that is absolutely profound, and I think it's true of many people, that we've become so used to living with sadness. That's all we talk about. We've become so used to living with people in conflict that that's all we can think to speak about. We only find interest in things that are painful or hurt or sad or terrible. And he says, because I've become accustomed to living this way, and that's how my mind has chosen to think, now I've lost the eyes to see the joy of God and the ears to hear his gladness in little things. I think lots of people have got themselves into trouble, not because their life is better or worse or whatever, it's because of what they've chosen to focus on. I remember one time I was walking downtown in Moose Jaw with my family, with Mum, when I was a little kid. And I don't know how old I was. I don't know what was going on. I was obviously distracted, probably looking down as I talked. And somehow as I was talking, I was either looking down or looking to the side. I don't remember that part. What I remember is I walked right into a parking meter. I was walking along and all of a sudden, bam! I hit this parking meter, knocked me right down. I was so angry. Because I'd walked into who walks into a parking meter? The only way you do that is by not paying attention to the right things. The only way you do that is by being distracted, by not focusing on the right things. In the book of Nehemiah, when Nehemiah comes back to God's people, and they've been in a mess, they've been taken away from their homeland and they've been brought home now, and Nehemiah's there to help them rebuild things. They gather everybody together. Nehemiah and Ezra, the priest, gather everybody together, and they read to them the book of the law. They tell them about God and his love, and then they say this. Nehemiah said to the people, this is Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 10. Nehemiah said to the people, go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and send some to those who have none prepared. Nehemiah says, enjoy yourself a little bit. And don't just enjoy yourself selfishly, but share something with those who need it. Go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and share with some who have nothing prepared. This day is sacred to the Lord. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Over the past year, and for 100 episodes on here, I've been trying to encourage you that the joy of the Lord will be your strength. And when we give up on the Lord's joy, when we give up on seeing things that are positive and good, then we will weaken everything about ourselves. The joy of the Lord is your strength. So, you still have a choice. The same choice you had a year ago, the same choice you had 100 episodes ago. What are you going to look at? Where are you going to focus? Is it going to be on all the bad and sad things? Are those the things you're going to talk about? Or are you going to talk about something good? Let me give you a hint. There's lots of sadness. We don't need more. Let's be the people who dwell on something good. Let's increase that talk. And maybe, just maybe, we will stop seeing the bad and actually start seeing the good that is all around us all the time. The joy of the Lord is where you're going to find your strength.